Cameron, Mish from Mike and Mish Show over here. We talked earlier, but you come from one of the toughest sports in the world in pro bull riding. You stepped in and you felt the bare knuckle hit the face. You got dropped. You showed resilience. You showed your toughness, and you looked like a real true pro out there. Is this a long-term thing for you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, once I got in there and I got hit with that first punch, I was like, oh, yeah, we're in for a show. He dropped me, and I got up, and I was like, this is not about to be another night of me getting my butt whooped and sparring. So I was like, I got to end it in the third round. I got to the corner on that third round, and they said, hey, you got to win this round. So I gave it everything I had. Yeah, thank you.
Cameron, after speaking with you yesterday, you guaranteed a knockout victory, and that came true. How does that make you feel with your performance tonight?
Yeah, it makes me feel good. I mean, I wanted to knock him out in the first round. But like I said, you know, we had 7 weeks training for this. So I can only imagine for my next fight, we'll get better and better each day. I'm dedicated to everything that I do, whether it's bull riding or football or now bare knuckle. So, yeah, like I said, I feel like I have a home here. I love to get hit in the face, as weird as it sounds. So I was like, let's do it. Let's keep going and see what I can do for the next fight.
Christopher DeSantiago with BloodyElbow.com. What was the best thing about going through your first BKFC fight week, and how do you plan on celebrating in Fort Worth, Texas?
Man, I don't know. I'm tired. I definitely feel the swelling coming on now. At first, I didn't, but I was pumped. You know, going through the training camp wasn't as bad for the weight cut because I started cutting weeks ago. I didn't want to wait till last minute to cut. I was 201 pounds 7 weeks ago. I was jacked, and I was like, I need to cut weight drastically. So I changed my diet. You know, I was doing 2-a-days, 3-a-days at the gym, 7 days a week. I was committed. And I told David a long time ago, when I come here, I'm coming here to make a statement. So that's what I did.
Saf from Global Fight Talk. It was definitely not an easy finish. You really had to dig deep to get him out of there. Were you impressed by his toughness?
I was, yeah. It hit me with that check hook when I came in, and I was like, son of a gun, man. You know, we already knew he threw a double jab. There wasn't much film on him, but we knew he didn't have anything on me. So when he started lunging, I was able to start gauging his distance. Like I said, you know, I'm just beginning in this sport. So as time goes on, I'll learn more and more. I got a lot to learn. We know where I went wrong at. I had my hands down a lot in this fight. And but when he started, you know, lunging forward, I was able to step back, start hitting him with some uppercuts. And, yeah, he's a very tough guy. I talked to him in the stitching room, and all the respect to Jesse.
Romero with Story of the Fight podcast. So you had mentioned that you started training about 7 weeks ago, preparing for the fight. 30 pounds, I believe, is what you said you dropped, right?
Yes, sir.
So the preparation has been immense. What was the biggest thing that surprised you once you actually got in there? And you had already mentioned some of the adjustments you have to make as far as keeping your hands up, but anything else that you feel like you really have to work on going into the next fight?
Well, to be honest, like I've had my street fights over the years, you know, and stuff like that. I've never actually been clean hit in the face except by my brother, you know. So it was like once he hit me with that jab, I was like, okay, that don't hurt as bad. Then he hit me with that check hook, like I said, and I was like, we're not doing that again. So I definitely would say, you know, took me some adjusting to get to. Like I got a lot to learn, man, and I'm thankful for all my coaches, everybody that's trusted in me and believed in me along this journey. And I just want to see how far and how better I get as each day goes by.
Hey Cam, it's Paul here. When we met in Clearwater, there was putting it together about this event. What is the difference between waiting in that chute to go out into the rodeo and doing that walk out there? Because you look very comfortable in the walkout. What is the difference?
Yeah, I didn't even realize they didn't play my walkout song. As I was walking out, I was so dialed in and focused. All I could think about was my little girl, my little boy at home. I was looking at videos and pictures of them backstage. I got emotional right before I walked out, and we had a little prayer, and I was walking out, and you know, I just vibe with the crowd. So I had to make sure I heard the crowd cheering, so that way I knew where I was at. And like I said, you know, that third round fight, I knew I had to come for a finish, and so that's what we did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Delano.
Thank you.
Delano.